I'm Lucy. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy the video. I had now been living in my little old trailer for a short while. I had started to get used to it, and also adjusted to my new surroundings, new area, and new neighbors. It wasn't the most ideal, but after everything I had recently been through, I had accepted the fact that I was poor and couldn't afford anything nicer. But I was okay with that. As long as my dog and I were relatively safe, that's all that really mattered to me. And for the most part, my now new transient neighbors didn't really bother me, as they pretty much kept to themselves, which was fine by me, because I now had also adapted that new way of being. So life went on, as I would slowly but surely start meeting and making nice new friends again. And I'd run my weekly errands of normal, regular grocery shopping, doctor visits, and my still always curious and adventurous personality. Everywhere I went, I would discover new, interesting, and fascinating people and places to blog and photograph, as that was my hobby, but more so my passion. So I always had something to do and always kept myself busy, especially since they were things that didn't cost me any money, and I truly loved and still do to this day. I hadn't heard or spoken with anyone in my family for a long while now, even though all my siblings and my mother all now lived in Florida again. But I had given up chasing after them and always being the one that extended the olive branch. I had gotten tired of not knowing the reason why they treated me so badly, and of always asking them what was wrong, to which they wouldn't even respond to me. I knew we all had a lot of unresolved childhood traumas, but I was the only one that was seeking and receiving help for it, and trying to get healthier and healed, while they had chosen to continue with their toxic and dysfunctional relationships and lifestyles. But I couldn't continue worrying about them and their choices, as I had come to learn that I could only worry about me and take care of myself, because I didn't have anyone to do that for me. After not seeing my sister for 10 years, when she had stopped talking to everyone in the family, when she got married, and she and her husband started working for a worldwide church organization, and her husband died, and she came looking for me one day so that I could comfort her, and then she disappeared again out of my life as quickly as she had reappeared. She had then received a large sum of money from her husband's life insurance policy and continued working as an officer at her job, where her employers would provide the officers with free housing, a free brand new car, and all expenses paid, in addition to a salary. I never asked her for a penny, nor did she ever offer me any, which was fine by me, as I wished her and my nephew the best. Even though they all knew my situation, they all turned a blind eye towards me, and all I ever received from them was a cold shoulder. I had thought that maybe they thought that I would be a burden to them, but I had always been very independent, and on the contrary, I had always helped all of them out, and then some, when they needed me. So I was very surprised one day when my sister and her co-worker showed up to visit me. They were both dressed up in their work uniforms and informed me that they were just in the area visiting sick or homebound people, which was part of their job. So I quickly realized that my sister did not make a special visit to come see me. When her co-worker/friend saw my little old trailer, she made a remark to my sister in front of me so that I could hear her. She asked my sister how could she allow me to live there when she had all that money and could easily purchase a house and have me go live in it. To which my sister turned red as an apple out of embarrassment, and she now felt obliged to me, since her friend had put her in such a predicament where she now needed to save face, because after all, she was supposedly a religious person, and I was her sister, who was disabled and in dire straits. I never expected anything to come from that, as I figured my sister would get out of it somehow. But much to my surprise, shortly thereafter, my sister called me to tell me she had a brilliant idea, that she wanted me to go live in a house that she was going to buy. She wanted to know if I'd be interested to go live in it, and all I would have to pay would be $350 a month, which would go towards her $500 mortgage. And then I would also be responsible for my own electricity, water, and utilities. I thought it fair, and I accepted my sister's offer because I had believed and trusted her that she was truly trying to help me live a nicer and in a safer place. I would never have imagined that my sister was doing all of this with malintent. Soon thereafter, my sister bought a beautiful 2-bedroom, 2-bath house in an upscale new town and community that also had an HOA. My sister accompanied me on the day that I moved in. We walked into her new house. I moved in with my dog, and I also now had a young little teenager kitty cat. She gave me the keys, turned around, and left. Months would go by and I wouldn't see her. She would only call me to collect the rent, which I would pay her on time every month. Or it would also be to call me to complain about our mother, who was now older and sicker, and my sister did not have the patience to deal with her. I would tell my sister to make arrangements to let my mother come stay with me where I could tend to her, where I now had plenty of room in her new big house, to which my sister would always tell me she'd think about it, but that she really didn't want to hear or deal with any complaints from my mother. So soon after my sister moved me into her new house, my mother eventually was brought over to visit me, which would turn into her staying with me permanently, where I would become her caretaker, which at the time was okay with me because I loved my mother, and I would do it all over again, just to have her with me again. Except I didn't know what I was in for. While I was tending to my mother, who had now moved in with me, and with 2 of her own cats, and my cat, the cat that I brought in when I moved in there originally, was mysteriously killed. And then my mother's cat had the same horrible fate. And then a few days later, the worst blow. My beloved little companion dog was killed too, in my own fenced-in backyard. Please come back to see the next video to find out what happens next. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please come back to see the next one. Be blessed. Bye.